good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes Goodman and Renck. Troy, this is a great time to be a Denver sports fan. Nuggets are going through a brutal stretch, which all should be great games. The Avalanche played the Stars tomorrow. And oh, by the way, still plenty of Broncos stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we're – and March Madness, even though the Colorado's not usually involved in any meaningful way, though they were last year with CSU, that's that influx of sports. I used to love being at spring training. We had March Madness, like with those 12, 16 games going on, like Thursday and Friday, and then football, free agency, and yeah, so I love this time of year. And again, it helps that our Avs and Nuggets – everything they're doing is relevant. And, oh, by the way, even they get dwarfed by a Broncos sign a big-name free agent.
Well, we're leading with the Broncos today, despite the Nuggets playing the Lakers tonight, and then a twofer tomorrow with the Avalanche against the Stars and the Nuggets against the Knicks. With that, I want to tell you about Roller Auction, the leader in Colorado auctions for over 50 years. On Thursday, Larkspur Outlet is having an auction for structure wood, fencing, decking, bathroom, kitchen and laundry room appliances and accessories, light fixtures, contractors, tools, and more. Bidding is started at rollerauction.com. So many great auctions going on. Really has something for everybody. Go check them out at rollerauction.com. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
Okay, Troy said we're going to lead with the Broncos. Here's why. According to CBS lead insider Jonathan Jones, the Broncos are the reason why the Jets used the franchise tag on Breece Hall rather than the transition tag, making sure the Broncos would not get the opportunity to make an offer the Jets would refuse to match. Assuming this report is true, and I have no reason to believe why it isn't true, Jonathan Jones has been doing this for a long time. Do you have any doubt the Broncos won't walk away with either Kenneth Walker or Travis Etienne, since running back appears to be their top priority?
I have zero doubt they're going to get a running back right now. I don't think it's going to be Walker. I just don't know if it fits well enough as a three-down guy that you're going to have to pay huge money, in large part because of he had the best game of his life on the biggest stage. Had he not done that in the Super Bowl, is Walker, what, an $8 to $10 million player? And now he's going to be asking for 14. I don't think they would do that, knowing how Sean Payton and George Payton have operated. Travis Etienne makes so much sense to me. If it's not him, we've talked about Dowdle, we've talked about Algier. It would shock me if they don't get a running back. The fact that this haul comes out, I think it's encouraging to Broncos country because it's telling you what we're all seeing. They've got to get more explosive offensively, Eric. And now, whether it's Hall, whether it's ATN, I'm fine with either one. When you start going down the tree, I don't want you to try to bargain bin shop. I don't. Look what the Rams just did. They're going for it. They're going for it with McDuffie. And they have a real shot to win the Super Bowl. So if you're the Broncos, you have to be cognizant of what's happened around you, too. This idea, we're just going to coach them up. When you get to that level of winning the Super Bowl, I'm not sure that would be the best move. I don't know how you think about that, but I cannot see them walking away without a running back in free agency right now.
Well, they need to get Walker or Etienne. My understanding is they're leaning towards Etienne anyway.
Right.
But here's the problem not getting one of those two guys. You get Dowdle, you get Algier, and suddenly it becomes a running back competition.
Correct.
With those other two, it's a no doubt about who is going to be your starting running back. You do not want to walk into free agency that way, or you don't want to walk into the season that way. Walker is going to probably get anywhere between 12 and 16. Etienne, I think the Broncos are going to have to overpay potentially. They're going to probably have to go as high as $11 million. I think you can make the case he's a 9 or 10 million guy. I understand how you can fudge the salary cap with signing bonuses and things like that. But I think they might have to overpay. Listen, who's probably the number one competition the Broncos have to get a running back? Kansas City.
The Chiefs, yeah. It's curious because they got so many picks now coming their way. You're almost hopeful if you're a Broncos fan that they're going to try to address. There's a lot of speculation they're going to take Jeremiah Love at 9. They still have that pick left.
I don't think he's going to last. They're going to have to. I think they're going to have to trade up to get him
from 9.
Yep.
No.
Okay. All
No.
right.
Running backs never go that high consistently. I don't like him as much as the rest of the world, but I think their eyes are on Love. But obviously they would know that because free agency happens before the draft. That's the
And that's
beauty of it.
that's the problem, because we don't know how much Love's stock is going to rise or fall.
Right.
For the Chiefs, it'll be great if it falls, but they might have to trade up to get him, because if they pass on one of the top two guys, Etienne or Walker, now they're going to be in a position where they have to get him. I don't know if Dowdle moves the needle for the Chiefs, just like I'm not so sure that it really moves for the Broncos. And my biggest issue with Dowdle is, yeah, he's a really good running back when he runs with the ball. As a blocker, goodness gravy.
Yeah.
You're going to have to worry every single time Dowdle's on the field and Nix drops back.
Yeah, and I just don't see Peyton doing that. Whether it's Webb calling the plays or Peyton, you can't put Bo Nix at risk consistently.
Correct.
I mean, you're always at risk, but not consistently. But even let's say if the Breece Hall is at 14.1 or whatever that transition tag is for 1 year.
14.6.
So if you are Kenneth Walker and or Etienne, that's where you want to start 3 times 14. I don't know that either one of them get there. Walker might, again, because of the recency bias, but it's still, for me, even if you went 3 year times 14, the guarantee is going to be what, 26, 20? It's such an easy guarantee for them. And it's really going to be a 2-year deal. So the reward is really worth the risk here. It's not a quarterback where you're going to guarantee 150 million and you're wrong. As we've seen, the ramifications run over years. If you're wrong on a running back, it would screw you for 1 year on the cap. So I just can't see a world where they don't get him. And can't imagine if it comes down to paying him 13.5 or 14.1, that's going to be the deal breaker. It just doesn't make sense to me given where they are as an organization right now, meaning the Broncos.
This is going to seem like a crazy question because I'm talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, a team already with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Patrick Mahomes. They have recent history of getting to and winning Super Bowls. I understand in free agency it's about the money, but if all the money is equal, do you think the Broncos can make a case they are a better destination than Kansas City with ownership, with a new facility, with Bo Nix?
If for a running back specifically, I think yes, because a running back you're looking at your next 2 to 3 years. I don't see the Chiefs winning a Super Bowl in the next 3 years. They're having to restart this process, not rebuild, but they're not a Super Bowl contender for me right now. They're a ways from that, and they're in a tough division with the Chargers and Broncos. They have Mahomes, but people forget Mahomes is coming off serious knee injury. He's not going to be ready to start the season, so September could be a wash for them. So if I'm a running back, my point is you only have so much tread on your tire. This year as a championship contender, I think the Chiefs are a wash. So now you got 1 year to win a Super Bowl. If it's just about the money, yeah, maybe you want to go play for with Mahomes.
But all things being equal, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but exactly. And if it's about the money, the Broncos can match more than anybody. They have the richest owners in the sport. So right now, as we talk, it does seem odd. The Broncos are better positioned to win a Super Bowl next year than the Chiefs are. And in large part because I don't know what Mahomes is going to look like initially after he returns. It may take him a couple months or a month to get going, and now they're under 500 going into the last stretch of the season. So if I'm a running back, Bo Nix being there is a big credit. The facilities are because the facilities are supposed to be done, the new headquarters in June. There's just so much going on positive. Yeah. I could see it someone saying all things equal. Yeah. I'm going to go there because I think that team this year has a better chance to win a Super Bowl, meaning the Broncos.
By longtime NFL reporter Diana Rossini is reporting several teams have reached out to the Broncos about Jarrett Stidham. Stidham set to make $6.5 million this year, $2 million guaranteed. Would you have any problem trading him just to dump salary and to potentially add another player? Remember, with Jaquan McMillan, that cost the Broncos $5 million.
Yeah.
Okay. So now they're roughly at about $20 million in cap space. Then they're going to go get themselves a running back. And that's going to cost quite a few bucks, maybe $10 million against your cap, depending on how, the contract is structured. Any problems trading Stidham, having Ehlinger as your backup? Or do you feel you need steady Stidham to be on call just in case Bo Nix has a problem with that ankle again or something else?
Yeah, you can trade Stidham, but keep Stiddy. Keep Stiddy in the locker room. He's the DJ. He's the guy. He's a glue guy. I don't trade him for cap purposes because you've got 11 extensions you've done over the last 2 years. You can renegotiate, restructure 4 of those to get cap space. Yeah. I'm not doing. If you feel like Ehlinger is ready, I'm fine with it. And Bo gets along with Ehlinger. The whole key is, with this backup quarterback thing, given Bo Nix's health outside of one game, is the chemistry of it, how it works. They have like every Tuesday quarterbacks going over to someone's house, watching movies, hanging out with their wives. Like the chemistry of that has helped accelerate and microwave Bo Nix's development. It has. He has become extremely close to Stidham. If you want to trade him because you're telling me Ehlinger's ready, I'm fine. If you're trading him to clear up cap space, I don't like that. And it just doesn't make any sense because you can clear up cap space a number of different ways with one of the contracts you've given out over the last 6 months.
All right, so ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, an incredibly well-connected guy, is reporting that multiple teams believe the Eagles will now entertain, although I don't think it's a big shock, they're going to entertain the idea of trading A.J. Brown. But this is where I find it to be a little bit interesting. Fowler mentioned 2 names to watch in a potential swap of wide receivers plus extra capital. And he included the Broncos in that and said the Broncos would have to include Courtland Sutton. Fowler is an excellent reporter. However, I just don't see where this makes sense on so many different levels. For starters, you have a diva in A.J. Brown. Secondly, can the Broncos locker room absorb a personality like A.J. Brown? And then just for fun, he has 4 years left on his deal, the next 3 averaging $24 million per season. So all due respect to Jeremy Fowler, whatever you reported is your choice. I just don't see how the Broncos would even entertain getting involved for that.
Yeah, you have to remember, too, how much they value Sutton, the guy. He's a captain. He's a Sean Payton guy. Yeah. So to trade, because they both talk about this in terms of Greg Penner, Sean Payton, that before we would introduce someone to the locker room, we kind of run it by the guys.
Right.
How would that conversation go if Payton's like, guys, we're going to bring in A.J. Brown? I think someone would be, okay, let me think. And we're going to have to move Sutton to do it.
Yeah.
From a skill standpoint, A.J. Brown's better than Courtland Sutton.
No question.
I don't think anyone that objectively watches football will argue that. But that chemistry element does matter. You're trading away one of the most popular players for a guy who's been a handful the last year and a half. Last year, he was a complete diva. No way around it. When I've seen trade propositions with them, it would surprise me they'd want a receiver back because they still have Devontae Smith. They have receivers. I don't know that they'd want a receiver back in a deal. I'm not questioning that reporting. But the deals I've seen would involve Riley Moss. You trade Moss, you trade, say Moss a third and a seventh or something, or Moss and a third. That to me is a trade that makes sense. I like Moss, but you got Chris Abrams-Drain. You've got Jahdae Barron. I'm with you, Eric. I can't see them moving Sutton to get Brown because that's a little counterintuitive. How much better is your offense? You need both of them to get to a Super Bowl, not one of them.
Yeah. Well, the salary itself blows it out of the water as well. The Broncos have roughly $20 million in cap space, and they're going to trade for a guy who's over 20.
Again, that part's easy with the restructuring. It's really easy. I don't ever worry about that. I mean, you saw what the Cowboys have done, the Chiefs have done. It's really easy to restructure with guys when you have a good relationship with players and you say, I'll give you $50 million right now over the next 6 months instead of waiting for 4 years for it. And guys are like, okay. I mean, it's really simple to do. I'm not worried about that. I'm just
so would you trade for Brown if Sutton wasn't involved? Would you? Because a 3rd and 7th of Moss isn't going to get it done. Philadelphia wants a 1st-round pick. No one's going to give him a 1st-round pick.
No one's giving him a first.
So
no one.
A 2nd-round pick and a wide receiver or a top-end player would probably get the deal done.
I would propose a 2nd and Troy Franklin and whatever other pick if they had to have
Trey
included.
Franklin, you think they see? This isn't a knock on you. I always get amused when not you, but fans propose trades, right? Well, you can have Trey Franklin. We don't want not we, but a lot of fans don't want Trey Franklin because he's been wildly inconsistent, although he's been much better this season. So if a lot of fans don't want Trey Franklin, why would the Eagles?
Well, because their offense is more varied. He wouldn't be of the pressure that the role that they've asked him to do in Denver. I'm not saying they'd take it. If you're asking me and we talk this out, it's why I propose Waddle over Brown. I think the Dolphins would take Franklin in a deal because they're rebuilding and he doesn't make any money. The Eagles are still going for it. But if you're the Eagles, I mean, how dumb would the other team have to be? Like, we're getting your best receiver and we're trading our best receiver and we're giving up assets and we're paying this guy that we don't know fits in our locker room more money. Yeah. Like, just saying it loud doesn't make sense. Now, if you're the Dolphins and you're just tearing it down to the studs and you get a third and you get Franklin and you get a seventh, that makes a lot of sense because you're moving on from guys. You've already cut Chubb. You're going to move on from Tua. Like, that deal, and they kick the tires on Waddle. But Brown's a better player. He is. But is he worth the headache of all this? Again, as we talk it out, he makes a lot of sense on your fantasy football team. I don't want Brown under these circumstances. And again, I've been as critical about Sutton as anyone over the years, and he's really improved these last few years. Yep. Credit to him. But I just don't think it's worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze here, Eric. It's just not. And I'm not sure if I'm trading for Justin Jefferson, I'm trading for Jamar Chase, I'm trading for Puka Nacua. Like, that's a different animal. I'm trading for a guy who's coming off one of his worst seasons, who was a complete headache as the center of the offense. I don't know, man. I don't like that trade at all. But the thing to remember about Sean Payton, maybe it's different now because he's in Denver. He's never paid two wide receivers at once. Never in his career. And he's at 2 decades now.
The issue with Brown is the diva status. If he did not have that, if Stephon Diggs didn't have that, then I think both guys would be more attractive to the Broncos. But the problem is they bring potential issues where they don't get the ball enough. They complain a lot. And, oh, by the way, I would hardly call A.J. Brown a willing blocker,
right?
Which is something else that should be added to the pot of gumbo.
Well, and people will bring up Eric and Curtis. They kicked the tires on Diggs last year, but we have to contextualize that. They did have interest in Diggs as he did them. It was before they got an extension done with Sutton. So They weren't sure what was going to happen with Sutton. But AJ, you got Diggs, who's been in trouble again, who has now another pending. I don't want to deal with him. They have literally removed anyone with public off-field issue, the Broncos, over the last year, coach and or player. I'm not bringing Diggs in. I just think it looks hypocritical.
Think about this for a second, about what you just said. And let's go back to the Shanahan era. And this is not meant to be a dig on Mike Shanahan, but it felt like once or twice a month, we would get an email from the Broncos. We have been, and a player gets in trouble. And it was almost like a boilerplate.
Yeah.
We have been aware of this situation for some time now. And it was like month after month, somebody was getting in trouble. That's not the way it is now. Coming up after the break, we got a lot of Nuggets news to talk about. For starters, they could be the 6th seed by this time tomorrow, which is hard to believe, as they go into a brutal stretch. Aaron Gordon will be coming back, according to reports, sooner than later. And Lou Dort apologizes, and the Nuggets ain't buying it. That's next.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corned bake. Man, you got to try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. All their locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook, great hangout bar, great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. They are the sports bar.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Black Hawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a Ford Maverick Tremor truck or nearly $25,000 in cash the weekend of May 16th. Earn daily entries with every locked up jackpot or by redeeming points on your player card. You can also earn a chance to win during their daily cash drawings every 45 minutes between 10 a.m. and midnight. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, great promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
And welcome back. Hot Takes Goodman and Renck. Want to tell you about Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. To me, it's the best barbecue spot out there. It's one of the best restaurants in town. Everybody does barbecue in town. The question is, can you elevate that barbecue into amazing dishes on a menu? So let me tell you about one of the things at Smokin' Dave's, and tell me if you've ever seen this on a menu at a barbecue place. The smoked meatloaf. The meatloaf has chorizo, sweet Italian sausage, porter beer, and smoked cheddar. Right there, that is already elevated. Now, throw in sauteed onions and mushrooms and a balsamic vinegar cream sauce. I've never seen that on a barbecue menu before. I see ribs, I see brisket, I see pulled pork. So they elevate barbecue unlike anybody else in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's in Denver, Estes Park, Longmont, Lyons, and Greeley. Go check them out. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. Your family should trust the Ferguson family for all your heating and cooling needs, and you'll see why they have over 165 5-star Google reviews. Make an appointment today at fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Well, the Nuggets are about to dive headfirst into a wood chipper when you look at their 6 games coming up. Tonight, it is against the Lakers. Then it's the Knicks tomorrow. Monday against OKC in that rematch, if that's what you want to call it, after what Lou Dort did. Then they get the Rockets and Spurs next week in back-to-back games, and then they get the Lakers again. Is there any way to overestimate the importance of tonight's game against the Lakers, considering the Nuggets have a half-game lead over LA for the 5th seed?
I didn't think there was a way to overstate it, Eric, until I attended practice yesterday. And I was the one asking the questions about Dort and all that, and we'll get to that. But
Yep.
I asked David Adelman, what would give this team more of a boost? Finishing in the clutch in a big win or getting healthy? Without hesitation, he said, getting healthy. All we have to do is get in the tournament and we'll be fine. And then I followed up, does the tournament include the play-in? He said, I'm fine if it's the play-in.
Oh,
We just have to get in. And I was like, yikes.
yeah,
So
no.
he is so concerned about staying healthy right now that he does not want to do anything to jeopardize that. They're 9-11 their last 20.
Yeah.
They're very likely going to be under 500 after the All-Star break if they're not careful. So that could be a play-in game. And it was weird. He said it matter-of-factly, and I'm like, I wonder if he got assurances from somebody above him that this year's a mulligan because of injuries, because he wasn't talking in those terms before.
No.
Before, when Jokic was out, it was like, we've got to protect the seed, we got to protect the seed, we got to protect the seed. And now all of a sudden, like, oh, if we're just in the play-in, we're fine. And I'm like, and I said to him, that's different from the tournament. That's a one-game survive in advance. He's like, yeah, we're fine. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, but here's the thing with the play-in. You get OKC or the Spurs in the opening round.
Right. And I did ask him about Gordon, because don't look for Gordon and Watson tonight. That's the other reason this game isn't as big as I thought it was going to be. I was planning on covering it. I'm not sure now because I got some other things, a project I'm working on, that without Gordon and Watson, I'm not sure what this game is just another game without their full lineup. And so
it's not just another game, because you look at their next 6, if they go 3-3 over that stretch, is that a win?
It depends if Gordon and Watson come back and win. I think Gordon's going to be back Friday.
Right.
Now,
according to reports, he will be back on Friday.
But I don't know when Watson's going to. Watson wasn't working out yesterday when we were there, so maybe he's next week. Again, my point is, I thought we were going to be writing like, oh my God, they're going play-in, the season's over, it's collapsed, and now it's like, well, when they come back, we just got to get into the play-in tournament. I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that at all, because that's going to be, maybe one road game. And I was like, whew. But Adelman literally said, as much as I want home court, I want us to be healthy. And then he disputed the idea they don't finish in the clutch, that he basically dismissed it as a statistical aberration because their best clutch minutes this year have been with Jokic off the floor. And he's like, that just tells you the variance and how weird it's been because we haven't been healthy. And then I said, well, when Gordon comes back, you guys have been so cautious, understandably so. How are you going to proceed? Is he going to even play back-to-backs? And he basically said, without saying, it's unlikely he's going to play in any back-to-backs. So what are we going to see him for over the final 20, Eric? 14 games-ish? How much of a difference is that going to make? And so I just think they put themselves in a weird position, and I'm going to write some variety of this. Can Aaron Gordon save the Nuggets season? That's a bad place to be with a 31-year-old with this many leg injuries. And I love Aaron Gordon.
Yep. Here is how unusual this season has been with the way it's played out. If I would have told you at the beginning of the season, the Nuggets desperately need Peyton Watson in the lineup, you would have said what?
I was like, wait, what? Who? What? When?
Right.
Where? That wouldn't have been Zeke Naji or Jalen Pickett, because Watson has insane athleticism, but we never thought he could score off the dribble. He was a spot-up shooter. That's it. And you're like, those guys come and go. They come. And now it feels like he is a huge X factor. And they did talk about, just so you know, let's provide all of this. They did talk about Cam Johnson, and Adelman says, he's beat up, obviously mentally and physically, but Adelman's like, I played him out of position. I'm asking him to play the 4. He's really a 3. And he basically said our best bench lineup was when he was out there. He carried our bench when we needed it. So that forecasts to me that you're going to have, at some point, Watson starting, Johnson off the bench, Gordon back, and that's their best team. I just don't know if they have enough time to get it all right. Especially if Gordon's not playing back-to-backs, and Peyton Watson might not play back-to-back.
Is it unfair to look at Gordon and say he is potentially the savior for the season? Is that overstated?
For me, it's not. It's not. And they will dispute that, including Adelman, because he did not like my premise. But to me, it feels like this is where the corner they've painted themselves into.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I don't like it. I just think it's an incredibly dangerous game with a guy his age and his injury history this year.
Right.
And if you want to tell me, Eric, he's Mr. Nugget, no one's better. He makes all the pieces fit. I agree. But that you're talking about things that happened in the past. I don't know what the future looks like with him right now. This season, an off season, as we said, and in a very delicate subject, maybe he has time to grieve his brother's loss more appropriately. He gets in the right frame of mind. He's admitted that this is all kind of crashed down on him. And now I don't think it's realistic to think he's going to show up and do it. If he did, what a story. If he showed up and all of a sudden the team that was 8-2 with all their starters, the 10 games they played together, suddenly started playing like that again, holy heck, I'd be like, here we go. They're on it. It's just like you said. What if they have to play the freaking Thunder in the first round?
Right.
They're not winning that. For me, they're not. And they match up well. They're not knocking out the defending champs in the first round. I don't see it. Do you?
No. Do you?
It's disappointing. I don't.
Yep.
But that I would pay money to watch that. If there's one game I want to go see of those coming up, it's Monday in Oklahoma City, and I'm going to put it on a T for you because Lou Dort, that fake tough guy, finally to the Athletic reporter came out and basically said, upon further review, I get why they were upset about my foul on Jokic, foul/complete cheap shot.
Why do you call him honestly? He's far from a fake tough guy.
What's he ever done tough?
He's one of the best defensive players in the league. How's that?
And anytime anyone bows up to him, he's looking for the first exit.
Really?
You think he looks like Mahorn? You think he looks like Charles Oakley? You think he looks like Bill Laimbeer?
Well, for starters,
you watch real tough guys.
For starters, he's a perimeter player. That's for starters.
He's built like a middle linebacker.
Fine. He plays the perimeter. That's what he does. And he's one of the best defensive players in the league. And he shuts down perimeter players.
So after he cheap shots Jokic, where was he? Did he get face-to-face? No, he's got one of his cheeseball teammates face-to-face with Jokic.
You're going up against a guy who is 7 feet, and what are you, 6'4"?
The guy that went up against Jokic probably weighed 60 pounds less than Dort.
I would love to have Lou Dort on this team.
I'm not saying you wouldn't want him on your team. Yep. I just think he's a fake tough guy.
I mean, has he been known as a cheap shot artist throughout his career?
He's done stupid stuff that I watched in the playoffs with my own eyes. Okay. He's becoming Patrick Beverley, and that's a shame because he's too good for that. He's way too good of a defender to pull that shit. That was total weak sauce. He realized it. The league realizes it. You don't want to be Pat Beverley was one of the best defenders in the league. And then overnight he decided to I'm going to be a heel and be a dumbass and do cheap shit. And he knocked Westbrook out for months. That thing he did, that action against Jokic literally could have knocked him out for 6 weeks. It was so unnecessary.
It was a cheap move. I'm in total agreement with you. The question is, and we will have time to talk about it on Monday, because that's when they go to Oklahoma City.
A game I wish I could go to.
Okay. The Nuggets better show up and shut them up, because if the Nuggets don't win that game, that's not a good sign. They have every reason to want to hop in the cage with OKC.
100%.
And the only way they can win that cage match is by winning the game. You can try and push them around, talking about the Thunder. You can try and out-physical them if you want to. But at the end of the day, who wins? The Nuggets have all the motivation going into that game. Oklahoma City is going to be the number 1 seed. The Nuggets barely have their nose above water. And if they walk out of Oklahoma City with a loss, they're going to be walking out of that city with their chins buried in their chest, and they should be.
I'm not sure Oklahoma City is going to be the 1 seed because I haven't given up on the Spurs. I don't think the Spurs lost last month, just so you know. And they won every award in the NBA. Player of the Month, Rookie of the Month, Coach of the Month. I'm not giving up on the Spurs getting the 1 seed. What's crazy, Eric, is how would the narrative change had the Nuggets beaten OKC in their last matchup? They did everything right, and Cam Johnson missed a shot to beat them. That's the crazy. It's like if they had won that game, we'd be saying, I think, it feels like they turned the corner. They met the moment. In their biggest game in months, they stood eyeball to eyeball with the champs. They won the game. They played physical. They made a few stops when they had to, and they needed one big shot, and they won it. And instead they continue to choke in the clutch, and they can't beat OKC. That's their nemesis. And if you're saying they have to beat, I don't know that they have to beat them. I know they feel like they do. They still play them again. They still have another one.
It doesn't matter. It's following the Lou Dort game. That's what this is all about. You know, when the players at practice heard about the apology, and you were there.
I was the one asking every one of them.
I heard your voice. I'm like, oh my God, that's Trey Rank. He's actually asking you a question. That's so fantastic. But with that, you had Bruce Brown, Valanciunas, and Adelman completely dismissing what Lou Dort had to say. So the game on Monday, in theory, is the rematch. They could push Oklahoma City around physically, and that's not a win. A win is a win. We could talk all about last year. The Nuggets pushed Oklahoma City to 7 games. They lost. They lost, period. I can promise you the players will not be walking out of that locker room feeling good about themselves if they pummeled Oklahoma City physically but lost the game. The Nuggets have all the motivation going into this game. They have everything to gain and everything to lose all in one game, because if you lose this game, it has made it acceptable for Lou Dort to do that.
I'm just telling you right now, I would be shocked if there's not multiple technicals and multiple ejections. So that's why I don't know how the game's going to go. It's going to be, in hockey terms, some guys are going to be dropping the gloves. They're not going to be here, but it's going to be physical. There's going to be some cheap shots, and or one or two are going to get ejected. And depending on who that is, that's going to affect the outcome of the game. That's why I don't know. That's why it's not just our best versus your best. Let's go play it out. There's an X factor here of, I don't think they're all going to make it to the end. But this is why, again, you get tested in seasons. There's defining moments. If Gordon's back, if Watson's back, this is a game you feel like our best versus your best. We can beat you, and we're going to show you. And so that's this I tell kids in sports all the time. Can you play with emotion but not get emotional?
Correct.
They may feel like we can beat Oklahoma City, but it only takes one cheap shot by a Nugget. Let's say it's Gordon, because he's got pent-up frustration for months on the bench, and he clotheslines a guy and now he's out. Now you're right back to who you were, and you lose. So that's why, can they control the emotion and put together their best? To me, right now, it's their biggest game of the season on Monday.
Yes.
For reasons you laid out. And just, do they have to win it? I just want to see them stand up to them, number one.
They
stand
will.
up.
I don't think that'll be a problem. You have to walk away with a win. Right now, the Nuggets are like a fly at a barbecue to Oklahoma City. They can't beat them. And
you see that from their fans, too, on social media. You see that from their fans, like, you Nuggets, we're in your head. We've got your number. That's all got to be stewing with this Nuggets team.
Yeah, they can. The Nuggets can stew all they want to, but they're not winning. Look at Minnesota. Minnesota has their number too, because they out physical the Nuggets. So you can go in there and hope for a bare knuckle brawl if you want to, but you have to win the fight. You have to win the game. I can't remember, outside of a playoff game, where the Nuggets had so much invested in beating Oklahoma City on Monday, because Lou Dort took a cheap shot on Jokic. The only way to truly respond to that cheap shot is to win, not to pick up a bunch of technicals and push Oklahoma City around. It's not. You gotta win.
I hope, as we talk it out more, I don't disagree with you. I hope nobody gets hurt. I want to see a physical game. I want to see a cage match. I don't want to see anyone hurt. But it's going to be real, because you're going to have them booing Jokic every time he touches the ball. And you're going to have guys looking for an opportunity. If there's a breakaway with Dort, or if there's somewhere Dort's exposed, if you will, going to the basket.
Who are your dogs? Who are your DAWGs?
Bruce Brown is one for sure.
Yes.
He's tops on my list.
Gordon is one.
Gordon is one.
You would think it's Valanciunas, but not really.
I don't see it with Valanciunas. I haven't seen it.
Maybe it's there. Brown? Is he a dog? I think he is to an extent.
I don't know if he would be in this situation.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. Outside of Bruce Brown, there are plenty of dogs on Oklahoma City, starting with a guy who doesn't even start, and that's Caruso.
Yeah, Caruso's really good.
Yep.
He's annoying as hell, but God, is he good.
Yep.
Because he plays defense and he makes huge shots. Like, he has a very narrow role that he's unbelievably good at. But yeah, this is that game. You got to kind of bow up your chest, and does it matter, and can't flinch, and here we go. And Bruce Brown for me is that dude.
Yeah.
and he plays that way, and he's played that way this season. But Brown versus Dort is middleweight versus flyweight, but I don't think Brown cares. And I know because I asked him, and he said he didn't give it. What do you think of Dort's apology? Don't know, don't care.
But starting tonight, they got to beat the Lakers, because if not, they're sitting at the 6th seed. And I'm not saying that David Adelman will get his wish, but if they lose this game, knowing the schedule that is down the road for them, honestly, they might get that play-in game.
Ugh.
With that, that's Hot Takes with Goodman and Renck, making the best possible day you can.